Welcome back, everybody. Clint today with Classic Firearms, here for another EDC pocket dump for spring 2024. Even though where I'm at up north here, it feels not much like spring, even though the snow just melted and I have now gone from a thick jacket to a light jacket. So spring must be right around the corner, even though it's technically whatever. All right, so with that, what is in my everyday carry lineup? For quite some time, you guys have known that I am a big fan of my SIG 365X Macro, the Alpha Mega Kydex holsters, and of course Columbia River knife and tool, and the Surefire Stiletto light. So obviously those are all going to be in my lineup. So let's just go ahead and talk about those really quick. And then of course a extra little goodie that is in my everyday I go running carry. So we'll talk about that here in just a moment. All right, so let's hop right into it, starting with the pistol and the holster. As I've already talked about, the SIG 365X Macro Legion compensated. Big fan of this pistol. Yes, it is the complete metal frame and all that, so it's a little bit heavier. Honestly though, I've said this so many times, you can carry a larger size pistol, a full metal size pistol, things like that, but as long as you've got a quality holster, you'll be good. You just gotta make sure that your clothing and all of that pretty much just synchronizes and works together. They got to collaborate, if you will, right? And so just make sure you invest in quality gear and you'll be good. So yeah, I am obviously a fan of this pistol with the 17+1 capacity, and of course a spare mag on my AO Kydex holster here, okay? Before we go any further, I'm obviously going to want to talk about how I've got my pistol set up, and I obviously have the SIG Romeo X Red Dot and the SIG, this is their light, which is super cool, the Foxtrot 2R light. Pretty freaking sweet, man. It's got a pretty decent candela on it, so it shoots more of a beam than like a flood, but it still obviously has quite a bit of flood that allows this thing to get great visibility and identify a positive ID on target, which is exactly what you want. And quite frankly, as I've already talked about, your holster can pretty much dictate what you carry. So some people out there might argue that a light mounted on your everyday carry is absolutely unnecessary. When's the last time that you used that? It's again the same concept, the same mindset of a fire extinguisher, of a gun in general, of a red dot sight, of a backup iron sights. I'd rather have them and not need them than to need them and not have them, which is exactly why I'm a fan of lights. Make sense? Great. Cool. Now that we've got all that covered, let's continue on here. Yes, spare magazine, as I've already mentioned, in the holster. Bam. And I love that setup. Feels really comfortable, and of course, all the dog hair included. Appendix inside the waistband is where I like to go with that. By the way, the belt that I like is it's Next belt. It's the ratcheting style. That's really cool, nice and thin, but very rigid. It doesn't sag or anything like that. So it's a nice setup, and I like that quite a bit. All right. Continuing on, let's go ahead and switch to I laid everything out. I reached for my pocket knife in my pocket, but I laid everything out behind me so you guys could see it. Like I've mentioned before, you guys know I'm a big fan of Columbia River Knife and Tool, and I've been using their pocket knives for, oh God, it's probably been decades now at this point. However, I was recently at the airport, forgot that I had my everyday carry pocket knife on me, and I had to trash it. So I went to my backup knife as soon as I found my way into my car, and what you'll notice is this is actually going to be my everyday knife. I'm not even gonna, I mean, I'll have another one for a backup, but this is just, I think, a better everyday carry other than the other one that I was using, simply because, well, 3 reasons. One, I have a glass break on it, which is very nice. You never know when your vehicle might be on a bridge that suddenly gets hit by a cargo ship, and now you find yourself in a vehicle that is now a submarine underwater, and you need to get out. Yikes. Not to make light of a terrible situation, but still. What do you do in that situation? Hopefully your knife has a glass break and a seatbelt cutter, so that way you can get out of that situation really bad or really quickly if you need to, right? You'll also notice it's orange. It is very easy for me to see. So yeah, it's not black, tactical, whatever else, FD, green, whatever. But I will say this, I am a big fan of the orange pocket knife, just like my dad was before me. Orange was his favorite for knives because if you're like me, you might drop it, you might throw it in with a bunch of other gear, and you're like, shit, where'd I put my knife? Oh, there it is, because it's the only thing orange that I own. So good luck losing that, right? Stainless blade, I like the Tonto cut blade as well, and for those of you that are curious, it's the M16 TAC 14 ZER, all right? So there you go. I don't even know if they still make these ones or not. I gotta get a couple more though if they do, because like I said, I'm just a big fan of it, all right? Great. Now, as cool as it is and as necessary as I might find it to have a light mounted to your everyday carry, your pistol, it's probably good to go ahead and have a standalone light as well. And Surefire recently came out with this light, the Stiletto Pro. The Stiletto Pro is, well, imagine the Stiletto Turbo, and that's pretty much what you get. So it's got a much brighter beam, more focused candela or higher candela than lumen, like the original Stilettos and the Stiletto Pro before this one. Definitely a big fan of this light. Very bright, and it is great. And of course, it has your different configuration in your different modes, so it can be as dim or as bright as you want, right? And that's great, right? So you're not absolutely blinding whatever, but you still have your tactical button right back here. So you push that, and that's a constant on, and also a strobe feature. So very cool. I'm sorry, you have a constant on right up here. You push that and that stays on, and then you've got your momentary right back here. Okay, easy enough. You'll also notice that it comes with an Allen wrench, or a torque wrench I should say. It is nice and windy out here. Hopefully my tailgate doesn't close on me. That'd suck. It won't hit the camera, okay. But it does come with the torque wrench to actually change the positioning of your clip for your pocket belt, however you like to carry. It came like this. I switched it around so that way the head was actually down in my pocket instead of up. And then I found myself, well, in the middle of a power outage, I could find my hat, and it's always kind of close and nearby. And then I needed to use my hands to get the generator running and stuff like that. And so I realized really quick I need to switch the clip back around so that way I can put it on the brim of my hat, whether it be top, bottom, whatever, and now I've got myself a little headlamp, right? That's perfect, if you ask me. So I like it the way it came, which is the clip where if you were to insert it in your pocket, the lamp or the actual glass is up instead of down. All right, great. A couple of you have asked before about my sunglasses that I like to wear, things like that. I have recently, I'm gonna say I've recently transitioned, but still a dude. But I have transitioned to my Wiley X glasses that you see right here. These actually have true Ballistic ANSI rated lenses, which is great because if you're on the range and you're shooting, especially at close proximity to still targets or anything that might have a splash or small, it's nice to have glasses that are actually going to protect your eyeballs. And you can just Google search, you know, malfunctions, eye damage, whatever it might be, and you'll see really quick that having, well, actually ballistic rated glasses is very important. Big fan of these Wiley X. I've also got another one, another set. These are the Founders. The other ones, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. They're green. They've got the stainless arm bars, which are pretty cool, but these ones are definitely my favorite. Like these a lot. Nice and lightweight. Big fan. And of course, in a lot of the videos, you'll see me with my Ray-Ban Meta glasses. They're the ones that have the cameras and all that, so that way I can shoot FPV, a photo, whatever it might be. And I think you guys like that stuff. Maybe we can splice in some of that so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, as far as other things go that I think are really important, and this is just in my vehicle that you guys see here, a first aid kit. You might not be able to see that all that well, but I've got tourniquets in here. I've got, it's a removable trauma pack, which is great. Unclip this, Velcro's out. Now this is going with me wherever I go, which is super freaking cool. Again, tourniquets on each side, because if you've seen anything like, oh, I don't know, a very bad car crash or a pile up, you'll notice really quick that bleeds are present, often, and bad. And being able to stop the bleed is very important. Open this guy up. And another thing that's really nice is everything's self-contained. Forget about the Velcro right there. But everything is nice and contained, other than that one little plastic baggie that I forgot that I had some Advil in. But there you go. Everything you need, which I think is just freaking awesome. So check out Trauma Pack. Again, I've got the Molly panels in mine at Rago Fabrications on my 4Runner. That allows me to put stuff and crap everywhere because I like that, right? So there you have it as far as that goes. Things that I just think are really important, and I'll buckle that back in later. But I want to talk about this little setup because I do like to run. Well, correction. I run. I don't like to run, but I do run because, well, cardio is important. But you'll notice that I've got my AWS Inc. Little tactical fanny pack, and I actually have these zippers stationed where they're at intentionally, so that way while I'm running, I'm not accidentally grabbing both zippers and trying to unzip this thing or whatever, because this is my concealed carry fanny pack. I've got this open like this, so I grab that zipper intentionally, and then I reach in and I pick out my backup 365X macro. This is just the basic 365X macro with the Holosun HS507KX2. Great little red dot, honestly. It's pretty decent. But you'll notice, no, I don't have any pistol light on here because I don't run in the dark. And honestly, it's got enough pockets and stuff where I could throw a flashlight if I wanted to. But I am a big fan of this gun as well. And something you'll notice on the inside of this is a little holster. That's very nice. And then up front, you already guessed it, another Velcro holster for extra mags. And yes, what do I have? An extra mag, because I'm ridiculous, I know. But yeah, you'll see me running probably, and I will have, or you won't, and I'll have this around me, and that's exactly why. Because as I've mentioned before, as I've mentioned in a recent live stream, it's great that you own the gun, but you actually need to carry the gun. So, and that means everywhere. And I, quite frankly, carry everywhere that I'm legally allowed to. At least that's what I'll say on camera. And so, with that, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What are some other everyday carry things you might have questions about? Oh, one big thing you guys ask about: watches. I do have my Garmin watch that I like to wear when I run, but and that's my typical everyday watch. But my fiance got me my dream watch, which is this Breitling, which is the it's the chrono that's paying homage to the F4U Corsair, which is super freaking cool. And that watch I am absolutely in love with. And she said I got her a nice engagement ring, so she said I deserve an engagement watch. She said she'll get it engraved for me soon though, so yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful and I love it. But I also get worried wearing it all the time because it's not cheap. Thanks for the gift, honey. But with that, of course, my Garmin, it's the, not the Tactex, the, we'll do a lower third or whatever it is, but yeah, Garmin that allows that is GPS capable, and it allows me to pretty much track me where I run, stuff like that, which is a nice little feature to have. So I'm not, you know, having to dig in my pockets or whatever while I'm running to see how far I've gone or anything like that, to know when I'm finally done. So that's about it though. Ammunition, you guys might be wondering. I am a fan of the this Federal HST ammo. Stuff works good. Fan of that. And I also carry the 124 grain plus P as well from SIG also, just in case, you know what I'm saying? So there you guys have it. I think that should be about it, should cover it. And yeah, I can do a vehicle breakdown at a later time or something like that. But yeah, if you want to see more of my vehicle, stuff like that, feel free to follow me, magdump_Morgan on Instagram, Twitter, all that type of fun stuff. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Comment down below, what are some of your everyday carry favorites? And are you a watch guy like me also? Just let me know.